Do you happen to have something that I'm going to call musician imposter syndrome? It sounds silly, but I can say from experience, this is something that I've dealt with in the past. And I'm not going to lie, sometimes I struggle with it in the present day. And so I wanted to make a quick video on this and kind of tell you some 3 steps that I've come up with that'll help you to avoid falling into the trap of what I'm, again, calling musician imposter syndrome. So let's go ahead and jump into what is imposter syndrome. The American Psychological Association states that people with imposter syndrome experience an ongoing fear that they're going to be found out or unmasked as being incompetent or unable to replicate past successes. These fears lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and a lessened professional confidence and risk-taking or career burnout. That's long-winded, but as I was reading that, even my own self making this video, I started feeling a little bit uncomfortable and uneasy, because I think this is something that we deal with as musicians. In an age where you can go online, it's a blessing and a curse, because when I was coming up learning an instrument, I would turn on a record and I would just listen to the record. I wanted to be like the bass player that was on the record. And so there was this a level of learning and then wanting to replicate. But nowadays, with social media, seeing people that literally will run up and down their instrument proficiently, it could make you feel like, oh my God, I can never be that. Or I want to be that. Let me strive to be that, which is it's not a bad thing. That can be a good thing. But I think where I'm leading with this video is where you begin to feel as if, let's say you posted something and it didn't fit the level that you want to be seen at, then now you're going to fear that you're going to be found out that you're not good enough. You're not the best musician on the planet. Guess what? There are tons of musicians that are amazing, and you don't have to be like any of them. You can be authentic to yourself. So here are 3 things before you get into a situation where you start feeling anxiety, depression, where you start feeling lesser of a musician and you don't even want to touch your instrument anymore. Here's 3 things that I'm going to suggest that would help you with that and to deal with that and to not fall prey to this form of thinking. The first thing I would say is learn styles that you love authentically. Why am I saying that? The heart of every musician should be, in my opinion, to want to play and have fun. You want to get together with other musicians. Music is a language. Everybody, whether they want to admit it or not, I believe everybody has a style or certain styles that they gravitate more toward. Me, myself, I feel like I pride myself in being very versatile in styles, but there's styles that I lean more toward. And so the styles that you love are going to speak a heart language that is authentic to you. So learn them authentically. If you are learning reggae, go and find yourself the best reggae videos online. Go get some Bob Marley. Get into that vibe. Learn it, the intricacies of it. If you're learning gospel music, the same thing. If you're learning country music, the same thing. Why does this matter? Because if you love it, then you're already winning in the sense that you're just wanting to play music for the love of it. And now you're just learning to do it authentically. When you learn it authentically, then you're able to reproduce and in a group setting, communicate that music with other musicians and create something special. Number 2, master the basics. I've said this earlier, we're so lost with social media in the high level skilled people that maybe are the 5 the 5%ers of the world that do amazing things. And sometimes it diminishes the importance of the basics. So learn to master your basics. What are basics? Basics can be simple chord progressions. Again, if you're going back to the first one, you love reggae, find some reggae chord progressions that are typical for that and get them ingrained in your ear so that you're familiar with those chord progressions. Gospel can be pretty intense, as I mentioned earlier. There's some stuff. I'm not saying country is not intense or structured in a. Oh my God, I'm losing my wording. I'm not saying that country's easy. That's what I'm trying to say. But there's chord progressions that lean themselves to different styles. So that's just one example. Grooves. Again, between country, reggae, gospel, CCM, rock, there's different grooves, there's different rhythms. So learn to find those grooves and reproduce them, be able to reproduce them authentically and master them. You don't have to be a master of all, right? You can be a master of the ones that you love. What else can you master? Techniques. Techniques are they're things that are across the board, right? There's certain things that it doesn't matter what genre you're in. I'm a bass player, so if I'm a bass player, maybe I'm going to master slap technique. Maybe I'm going to master muting technique. Using two fingers and making them sound as I'm plucking, making them sound balanced. Technique in my left hand, making sure that notes ring out clearly. Master the basics, because believe it or not, basics are things that are going to get you calls. It's not the crazy stuff and chops and crazy abilities that people have that are superhuman as musicians. The basics are going to get you paid. And the last one that I'm going to say, honestly, again, this is a video I'm speaking from experience. Things that I have dealt with. Be authentic to you. How are you going to be authentic to you? Well, if you did the first two things, right? This is not saying be authentic to you and now you're creating the newest style of bass playing that is so avant-garde. It's so abstract, I should say. It's so abstract and nobody's ever heard this before because it's not good. That's not what I mean. If you're having an issue where you say authentic to me, this is who I am. Well, you want to be authentic to you, but master the first two things, the basics and playing authentically. But being authentic to you means this. Don't get lost in trying to feel that you have to prove to the world that you're just as good as a Victor Wooten, that you're just as good as a Marcus Miller, or whatever other musicians on other instruments, Chick Corea, these are jazz giants. You can strive to be those people, but I think when we start feeling like we have to show the world that we're that good, that's when you start getting lost into this imposter syndrome. Because there's an ongoing fear, I'm literally reading this, that you're going to be found out or unmasked as being incompetent or unable to replicate success. And so in trying to be like other people and getting lost in that, you're not going to be authentic to you. What is important when you play? Number one would be joy. Having a love for what you do. If playing makes you stressed more than it makes you at peace, what do I mean by that? If you're on a gig, you may be a little bit stressed. I get that. You want to make sure you do well. But at some point, joy for what you're doing should take over, and you're going to be authentic to all the things that you've done in practice time, all the basics that you've mastered. Don't ever fall prey to not being good enough. Don't ever fall prey to feeling like you have to be somebody else just to uphold the view of others that you're as good as somebody else. You're you. And if you have done the other two things and you play authentically to the styles and you have your basics down, listen, you're playing your role in the band and you are authentically you. Everybody has a voice. I have a voice that's different than other people that are in this planet. And I'm comfortable with that. I have learned to become comfortable with that because I know that at the end of the day, I can get the job done. And that's why people are calling me. They're not calling me because I'm going to go and do circles around all the other musicians. They're calling me because I'm authentic to me. I'm true to the music. I love my music when I play. I enjoy it. Find your voice and be authentic to you and understand that you are good enough. Continue to grow. Continue to push yourself to grow, but don't ever get lost in an imposter syndrome where you are just sold that you have to be like somebody else. No, you were created to be special in your own right, and that extends to your playing. So I hope you got something great out of this video. Hey, please make sure that you like and subscribe. I appreciate all the people that have been showing support on my channel. There's more to come. Leave me comments on stuff that you may want to see, but make sure you share, and I thank you for your time and dedication in following my journey. Thank you.